Welcome back to video number 2 for National Jelly Roll Day Sew Along with Sunflower Quilts. I'm Jamie. You will begin by pairing up those 2.5 by 6.5 inch pieces with two 2.5 inch squares, all of the same fabric. So again, you'll need groups of 2 of each of the 2.5 by 6.5 inch pieces and 2 2.5 inch square pieces. This is going to be the outer portion of your square block. And you should have 27 total groups, like so. Next, you're going to take those 2.5 inch leftover squares that you have and put one on each of your previous piles. For these, I really like to use a contrasting fabric so that those centers really pop and stand out. You will sew as follows. You're going to lay out your two 6.5 inch pieces on the top and bottom, and then your 3 2.5 inch squares in the center, which is what we'll sew first. Reminder, use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I totally forgot to check that before I started, and you'll see at the end that I had to remake this block. Love that for me. So don't be like me. Make sure you're using a 1/4 inch seam first and foremost. And then you're going to sew one of those outer fabrics to each side of your center square, and then you're going to press it. I am pressing my seams to one side, which is pretty much what I do all of the time. You can press them open however you would like, but I do a lot of stitch in the ditch quilting when I'm traveling during free motion quilting, and pressing to one side just keeps my seams stronger. But again, totally your preference. If you want to press them open, do it. And then next, you're going to take those two 6.5 inch pieces and sew one along the top and one along the bottom of that 3 square piece that you just sewed in the previous step. Once you have those sewn on, you will take it over to your ironing board and press those seams. I, again, am pressing them to one side. If you want to press them open, go for it. And then you'll see in this next photo, on the edges, you can see that my seams were off. I noticed it right away, and I took it apart, redid it, and boom, now she's perfect. You will repeat this a total of 27 times, so you will have 27 6.5 inch blocks. After you press them all, check to make sure that they are square to 6.5. And then we're going to sew them together in groups of 3. And then this step is important when you're sewing them together. I sew them with the 6.5 piece sides on the top and bottom, and I keep it the same way for each of my 3 block sets. Another tip is called nesting your seams, which you see I'm doing here. That pink block that's on the bottom, the seams are facing left, and that yellow block, the seams are facing right. And that is called nesting your seams. This helps you line up your seams perfectly so that when you press them open, they will be lined up. This will help when we're doing the next blocks in this quilt, line those up even better. Know that your quilt top will be square when you're done. So again, line those up, nest your seams, and if you need to turn your block to get those seams nested, go for it, or press them a different direction. And then once you have those sewn together, take it to your ironing table and press them. I like to press them again to one side and then smooth out the 3-piece block set. Repeat this for a total of 9 times and come back tomorrow for video number 3.